you've been setting new goals but constantly feel like a failure because you're unable to achieve those goals you set. I've been exactly where you are, setting very dreamy goals and ambitious goals, unable to achieve all of them, and going down the spiral where I hit rock bottom and I'm unable to even feel motivated to set new goals. I mean, what's the point of setting a new goal if I'm unable to achieve the previous ones that I've set for myself? The truth is that everyone sets goals, but only a small chunk of people achieve the goals that they set. And that should tell you something about goal setting. So it's not just about setting goals. There are things you have to put in place in order to be able to help you achieve those goals. So towards the beginning of this year, I set very smart goals and I wasn't able to achieve all of them, which is normal. Obviously, you don't need to set small goals, you need to set very big goals, and it's okay not to achieve all your goals, but you need something that will constantly keep you accountable of whatever you're working towards. But for me, I take it personally. Setting goals and not being able to achieve them feels like a personal failure. It was really disappointing to me, and worst of the case was is that it was mentally hurting me. It felt like every goal that I was not able to achieve took a piece of me. And it did two things to me. It discouraged me from dreaming bigger, and it also discouraged me from working towards the person I said I wanted to become. This yo-yo effect, or would I say this loop, happened over time where I'll set goals, I'll not be able to achieve them, and then discouraged to set new goals. Happened for a while until I decided to take a step back and actually understand what was happening or what I was doing wrong. And so I decided to take a new route. One day if you don't try out something new. I decided to stop setting the traditional goals. I did a couple of things differently that propelled me, that changed the course of my life in the last quarter of the year. And I'm going to share with you guys 6 things that I did that is so mind blowing. I started incorporating some of these towards the end of the year, and it's returned back like it was magic. And so I'm sharing this with you because I know that it could change the course of everything for you by the end of next year. So make sure you stick to the end of this video because it's going to be hits upon hits. So without further ado, the first thing that I did to shift your focus from the outcomes and focus on the actions. And what do I mean by that? So in the beginning of this year, I set a lot of outcome-based goals like in 30 days, I want to be able to get a job, get my dream job in this particular company or in a certain location. And then I'll work so hard, I will do everything required of me to make sure that I get that job. But one thing happened during the span of 30 days, by the end of the 30th day, I realized that I didn't have the job. And so I felt like a failure. I felt so unmotivated. I felt disappointed in myself. It was very hurtful. And it was this bad because I constantly dismissed all the work that I had done before. That is, even if I worked so hard, even if I had sleepless nights working towards getting this job in 30 days and I didn't get that, to me, all the work I've done is invalid. All the work I've done is wasted. It's not relevant. And so it constantly drained my energy. And I remember doing this for the second time. I really did not get the job. I was so frustrated at this point. At this point, I was like, you know what? I'm so done with this. I didn't want to do it again. But one thing happened. I decided instead of doing this for the third time, I decided to take a step back and really understand what is happening. Why is it happening? I didn't even want to set the goal at all. I didn't even want to venture into setting a new goal. So I was demotivated from setting a new goal, and I was also discouraged from working towards the person I said I was going to become. And for me, that was very brutal. And so I decided to step back and actually understand what was happening to me or what I could do better in order to avoid this yo-yo effect. While analyzing this, I realized one shocking truth, and that is the fact that I consistently focus on the outcomes of my goal instead of focusing on the action. The truth is that I can set as much goals as I want. I can set the biggest goals and the most ambitious and dreamy goals. But that doesn't mean that I'm guaranteed of the outcome. That doesn't mean I'm guaranteed of the result. And so I realized that I put myself in a trap, which is setting a goal and defining the outcome already. And so when I did not get the desired result, I would beat myself up and it did not leave me in a good place. So I decided to turn around. I decided to take another route to my goals. So I start focusing on the action instead of focusing on the outcome, which is something I cannot control. So the truth is that you can set as much goals as you want, but you cannot really control the outcomes of it. And so I started to focus on the things I can control, which are the actions. So my goals changed from achieving a job in 30 days to being like, okay, I want to get the job in 30 days. I'm going to work towards sending out 5 cold emails to this particular companies, reaching out to this certain person, sharing my work online for a couple amount of times to make sure I'm reaching the people that I need to reach. And so doing it this way, I felt more fulfilled because I knew that I was doing my best. And even if I did not get that particular job, I didn't feel so bad. I'm frustrated about it. And so this has been a route I've taken, which is focusing, continuously focusing on the action. That is that thing I could do every single day to get me closer to that goal that I have set. Why? Because I cannot control the outcomes of my goals. So that does not dismiss the fact that you cannot set a goal in a short duration of time and achieve them. I don't dispute that. It's very, very possible. It happens all the time. It has happened for me. But the truth is that majority of the time you cannot control the outcomes of the goals that you set. And so it's better to make sure that what you're really, really focusing on is the actions, making sure you're doing what you're meant to do. If you want a job, make sure that you apply to a number of jobs, make sure you send out cold emails, make sure you do everything you need to do in order to get closer to that goal. But being able to know if you get the job or not is not under your control. And so I avoided that. And ever since then, I've been able to consistently set goals and in a healthy way balance my actions and my outcomes. Moving on, the second strategic thing that I did that you should do if you want to win big in this coming year is to trust the power of compounding effect. Now, this one is so special to me because the media has made everything look so rosy. But the truth we often forget is that real results actually do take time. It's not a day thing, neither is it a week thing, neither is it a month thing. But the problem is that we now live in a world where people want everything instantly. They want the money now, they want the success now, they want the job now, they want the opportunities now, they want every single thing right now. And so it's very hard to see people delay gratification for things they want. But the truth is that to build a remarkable thing, it does take time. That doesn't dispute the fact that you cannot achieve something tremendous in a very short duration of time. But most of the time, to build something worthwhile, it does take time to compound the habits and the hard work and the effort you put in order to come out as a very big, groundbreaking result, which people see as success and validate you for that. It's just like this analogy of trying to boil an ice cube. Slowly, it's going to first of all change its state from solid to liquid and then to vapor. But the truth is that in as much as you have subjected it under heat, for the first few minutes of subjecting it under heat, you might not necessarily see any change. You might not necessarily see it changing, but for over time, constantly subjecting it under that heat for a consistent period of time, you're going to see it change gradually from liquid and then it becomes vapor. In the same way, you might be working towards your goal for even 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and nothing really seems to change, and you're not seeing any groundbreaking results. The truth is that you might not see any result in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 year, 1 month of working towards your goal. But over a period of time, you're going to look back and you'll be amazed at how far you've gotten if you were really consistent with that thing you were building. And that was my case this year. Towards the beginning of this year, I felt like nothing was happening. I mean, I was working, but nothing was happening. And so, regardless of how I felt, I still showed up. I still did everything that I needed to do in order to get closer to my goals. I did everything I needed to do in order to become the person I said I wanted to become. And towards the end of the quarter, it felt like everything started to happen worse. Everything began to pay off instantly. All the opportunities I was looking for were chasing after me. And even the opportunities that I never expected came knocking through my door. And in that moment, I validated the idea that there is something called compound effect. And so for everything you're working towards, it might not happen at once. It might not happen instantly. But the truth is that it takes a period of time for that habit to pile up, for those actions to pile up, for the consistent showing up to pile up in order to be able to grow into something big that people see as the result. And so yes, work towards your goal, but be aware that everything will not happen instantly and be okay with that. The third thing that I did that brought me really massive results, and I'm sharing with you if you want to gain massive results in 2025, is to build systems that make success unavoidable. See, it's one thing to set goals. This one is very special to me because it's one thing to bring out your pen or your notepad or your software to put down your goals. You can write goals as long as you want. You can write as many goals as you want. But if you don't have systems in place, if you don't have routines and habits in place to propel those goals, you're just going to fall flat on your face. You're not going to be able to sustain that goal for a very long time, because you can set goals because you're motivated. It's new year, you're setting goals, everybody is setting goals. But if you don't have systems put in place to help you achieve those goals, you might not see them come through. Just like one of these big industrial machines that is set up to do certain tasks at certain time. Let's take for instance an industrial machine that processes biscuits and all of those candies you eat. It takes one step at a time. It turns the dough into this and next into that until production, until final delivery of the end product. In the same way, you need to organize your life and set up systems in different places that will position you for success. Because if you just have goals, your goals are not enough. You need to be able to set up things that will help you achieve those goals. Because the truth is that when life throws something unexpected on you, it's very easy to fall off track. But when you have systems and not just goals, you're able to always come back on track, regardless of where life threw you to. So, for example, for me, my health is a combination of so many aspects of my life. It's a combination of my physical well-being, my spiritual well-being, and my mental well-being. So, to make sure that I sustain a healthy lifestyle, I set up routines, habits, and systems that make good health a consistent and day-to-day part of my life. It could be something as little as reducing my screen time. When I reduce my screen time, I get to spend time alone, which is something most people tend not to do these days. When I spend time alone, I get new ideas. When I reduce screen time, I have a lot of time that I don't even know that I have. And I use it to do the things that bring me joy, such as maybe learning a new language. And when I learn this language, when I do things that is outside of my comfort zone, I actually feel happy. I feel more joyful, and it's something that I truly enjoy. So it brings me more joy. When I reduce my screen time, I have time to focus on the most important things. And trust me, when I'm focusing on something, I'm working effectively and I'm working with speed. And if I'm able to finish early, I can go to bed early. If I'm able to finish early, I can do other things that interest me, such as praying early, going to bed early. When I do all of these things, I feel happy. Well, what's more happens when I go to bed early, I'm able to wake up early. I feel more energetic. I feel excited for the next day. And I even get more time to do things like going for a morning run, which is something that I enjoy doing. But the reverse is the case when you do it the other way around. If, for instance, I spend my time scrolling on social media or doing some stuff that does not bring me interest or does not even help me become who I want to become or get me closer to where I want to be, my day would have just ended like did the barest minimum during the day, spend the night watching a movie. Obviously, I'm going to snack while watching the movie, and then I'm going to go to bed late, and then I'll wake up not so energetic, and I wouldn't even have time to go for a morning run because I did not wake up early. So you see how habits and routines you put in place can either make you go forward or backward. So it's not enough to set a goal of I want to get fit. You need to be able to put yourself in check and set systems that will help you to actually get fit. It's not enough to say you want to make a ton of money in this coming year. You actually need to set up systems that will help you and keep you in check of the goal that you've set. And as James Clear would say, you do not rise to the level of your goals. It's not about the height of the goals or how big your goals is. You will instead fall to the level of your systems. So even if your goals is as big as Mount Everest and your systems are disorganized, it's not good enough to sustain those goals, you're going to fall flat to your face. And that is why it's not good enough to set goals alone. While you're setting goals, make sure that you set up systems and routines and habits that would balance those goals and will help you get to where you want to get to. Moving on to the fourth thing. The fourth thing that I did this year, you guys, I'm so big on this one, that you should do or you should incorporate in your life in this coming year if you want to be successful, if you want to win big, is to embrace self-reflection over constantly setting new goals. You see, it's very easy to get a pen and paper, to get your notion or to get your notepad, to type down your goals. But it's also one thing to take a step back and review what works, what has been working, what has not been working, why it has not been working, and why has this taken off. So instead of constantly setting new goals all the time, take a step back. It could be something you do on a daily basis or on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, or bi-weekly or bi-monthly, or at the quarter of the year or at the end of the year. all you should know is that it's very good to take a step back and check what you have been doing. For me, it's something I do even daily. I do it weekly. I do it monthly. I do it all the time to keep myself in check of what is working and what is not working. So you need to be able to pick up what you've been doing, pick up the things you've been doing, pick up the goals you've set, and ask yourself, why have I been able to achieve this? I'm not been able to achieve this. What is setting me back? What can I do to move forward? The moment you start asking yourself those questions, you can be able to track goals and habits that is either moving you forward or is keeping you where you are. I'm really emphasizing on this because reflecting on your goals is also as important as setting new goals, because it will be a disservice to yourself that you're constantly moving, but you're moving in the wrong direction. So it's very important to reflect on what you've done so that you know that even as you're moving in the right direction. When reflection becomes part of your life, you can start identifying habits or even mental habits that keep you where you are, or that you realize that these are things that keep you going. So you need to incorporate more of that into what you're doing. And the only way you get to do that is when you document your journey. If you don't document your journey, there's no way you're going to know what you did, what you did not do, what works, what doesn't work. So it's another reminder that if you don't document your journey, start documenting your journey, which I'm an avid user of. I love my books, I love my pen. Is that I use software, I use Notion a lot, I use both of them hand in hand. Just find something that helps you to document your journey, to document your progress. For me, it's something that I do on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. I to go into my Notion, I type out what are the things that I achieved this week, whether it's monetary achievement or is productivity achievement, what were the things I was able to do, the things I was not able to do. With that, I'm able to track patterns. And that was one huge thing I did by the start of this year. I was able to track the habits that kept me from achieving what I set for myself last year. One of them was very big on procrastination. And I noticed that one of the things that kept me from achieving a lot of things I wrote down was that I was on so many things, I was doing so many things at the time. But if I was not able to document some of those things, I will look back and I will do the same thing again. When I documented my journey, I realized that I was doing so many things. So it kept me from focusing on one thing, achieving something remarkable. So it's that reminder to document your journey. Make sure you're documenting every single one of your process so that you can be able to look back and see what is working and what is not working. And you can use that to either strategize in order to propel yourself to keep going forward and not backward. Now, the fifth thing that I did help me get to where I am, that you should do if you're not already doing, surrounding yourself with the right environment. Now, when I talk about environment, I don't just mean where you live or your location. It could be part of it, but it's not entirely where you live. You are the average of the five persons you spend your time. If you spend your time with five close-minded people, you're going to be the sixth person close-minded to things. That is how important the people you keep close around yourself is. It's very important, and this is one of the most underestimated part of growth. When you want to see big results, environment plays a very huge part of it. It's just like a nursery that we're all taught in agriculture, in primary school, in secondary school, which is an area where young plants, seedlings are being grown and nurtured under certain conditions before they are able to be transplanted to bigger farmlands, to orchards, to gardens, etc. You could be in your nursery right now. You could be in that comfort zone. But the truth is that if you want to be big, if you want to grow, if you want to achieve something remarkable in this coming year, you need to be able to move out of that nursery and go to your farmland where you can be able to sprout and be able to get the freedom you need to grow as much as you want to. So that is the problem. You need to be able to move away from your nursery, which is your comfort zone. You need to be able to start doing the things that you were not comfortable doing if you really, really desire growth. So again, when I talk about environment, I don't mean where you live. I mean the people and the things you've surrounded yourself with. The people you've surrounded yourself with can influence the content you watch. You know those kind of friends that are always going to send you links to Instagram reels that really are not worthwhile to what you're doing or what you're building. They can influence what you guys constantly talk about. You need to be mindful of who they listen to, what they watch, who they follow on social media. If it's not aligning to who you want to become, if the information you're getting from them is not aligning to where you want to see yourself, if the discussions you are having with them does no longer interest you, it's time to make a change to the people that influences your action. Those are your environment. You have to filter your environment of things that are important to what you want to do or things that are not important to what you want to do. You need to constantly filter out and take away distractions, things that distract you from who you want to become or from where you want to go. You need to constantly listen to people that have the result that you have. This is something I constantly practice. Whenever I'm in a certain situation, I listen to people that have the results that I want because it helped me to focus on what I want to achieve. I focus on the execution and know what someone has to say about it. But listening to the people who have the result I want to achieve will help me to cut away the noise and focus on action, executing, and getting the desired results. It has worked for me for every single moment I've tried it, and I keep doing that because I know that the people I listen to, the people I pay attention to, the people that I take all my time to invest in, those influence the habits that I make, it influences the choices that I make. And so I know that it's very important for me to be able to filter my environment and make sure that it's constantly filled with people and activities that support my goals. And the hard pill to swallow is that yes, for you to be able to move from your nursery to your farmland, from your nursery to your orchard, you need to be able to make that tough decision to drop people that are not pushing you to your goal. Now, I don't mean start cutting people off your life. You can still maintain amazing friendships, but you don't want the kind of people that distract you from your goals, that discourage you from your goals, that are no longer important to what you're building. Those are bad energy, and you don't need to carry that on to the coming year if you really want to build something remarkable with your life. Now, the sixth thing, which is the last but not the least, is to celebrate your small wins relentlessly. I intentionally added that relentlessly. You don't have to constantly wait for the big breaks to be able to celebrate your wins. For me, no win is small. Every win is a win. So I always celebrate my wins, no matter what it is. As long as I'm feeling fulfilled by it, I'm going to celebrate it. This year, I literally made the habit of documenting my journey, like I said before. And through that habit, I'm able to document my failures and my wins as well. But the problem is that people are looking to do groundbreaking things before they appreciate themselves. Are looking to move out of the country or to get that groundbreaking job before they appreciate the work they have put in, which shouldn't be that way. You should be able to celebrate even the most minute things in your life. The truth is that God will not even give you more if you don't appreciate the one you have. So appreciation and constantly celebrating what you have and being grateful for what you have is in itself an open door to receiving more. For me, whenever I'm celebrating a win, no matter as little as it is, it keeps fueling my momentum to keep doing more because I can see that as long as I'm working towards this, it will only take time for me to be able to get to a certain point. So even if what I achieve is not as big as I thought I would have achieved, I will still celebrate it while still working towards what I want to do. Be it that I posted what I said I was going to post, or I made a video I said I was going to make, I applied to a job I said I was going to apply to, or I reached out to someone I said I was going to reach out to. I'm going to be excited about it. I'm going to be happy about it because it takes a lot of effort to actually say you're going to do things and do them. So for me, it's a win, and I get to celebrate that all the time. This small celebration, it builds self-trust and it builds confidence. It gives you the confidence that you're the type of person who says you're going to do stuff and you actually work towards that and you actually achieve that. So I always tend to celebrate my wins regardless of the size. And one striking thing I noticed as well was that when I started documenting my journey, when I started celebrating my wins, I realized that by the end of the year, I had a lot of things I'm grateful for. I had a lot of things I achieved. The problem was that during the previous years, I wasn't able to document a lot. And so when people share their wins, I felt like I really didn't do much. I felt like I wasted my year. But when I started documenting my journey, I realized that I had a lot to be actually grateful for. So when others are sharing theirs, I'm also sharing mine. And so I don't feel pressured by other people's achievements. Because I look at mine and wow, it's a long list of achievements. And so I'm grateful. So you need to start documenting your journey. You need to start celebrating every single win so that you'll be that person who by the end of the year you're so glad you will look back and see the remarkable thing that you've been able to achieve in a span of only 12 months. And there you have it, guys. 6 days that I'll say I did towards the ending of this year that brought me remarkable results. 2024 taught me anything, it will be the fact that your goals might not go as planned, but God has the perfect plan for you. He knows what to do in the perfect timing. So it should be that reminder that winning does not come from achieving a specific goal. but instead building a life where joy and happiness is a part of your daily experience. Let these 6 tips guide you, and I promise you, if you do what you say you're going to do with these 6 tips I've given to you, you're going to look back and you're going to be amazed at the career or the life that you've built in a span of 12 months, and you'll be proud of yourself. And I'm going to wish you guys a happy new year in advance. I hope that this new year brings you a lot of opportunities, happiness, joy, etc. I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. And don't forget, if you watched so far, you are so amazing. Thank you for watching so far. Thank you for constantly supporting this girl. And don't forget to like, to subscribe, to comment, to share with your loved ones in any way that is going to help them. If it helps you, it's going to help someone else to do. Feel free to share with other people, and I cannot wait to see you in this coming year. Bye bye.